The study of thirds for piano technique is beneficial for all pianists. In this lesson, we'll also focus on relaxed wrist movements. The wrist motion enables the creation of beautifully controlled and musically shaped phrases. The technique I'm demonstrating here, using two-note phrases, occurs often in music, such as when ending or lifting off of a phrase. This tutorial will teach how to gently drop a relaxed arm, hand, and wrist downward onto the keys, playing the interval of a third with strong fingers. Additionally, with the relaxed upward wrist movement, this lesson will demonstrate how to play the next interval of a third using very little finger effort. In other words, your relaxed wrist motion will be doing all the work. The results are a rich, deep, and clear tone quality. The exercise consists of exquisitely played phrased pairs while also developing finger strength, dexterity, and coordination. So let's delve into 5 piano technique exercises for double thirds. Number 2. It's important to always check your hand position. Place your right hand thumb on middle C, second finger on D, third finger E, fourth on F, and fifth on G. Check your wrist. Be sure your wrist is tall, not too low. You don't want a low wrist. Check your knuckles. You want to keep your knuckles tall and rounded, not at all caved in like that. You don't want that. Your fingers should remain curved, not flat. You don't want that. Or caved in. So you don't want this joint caving in right here. Keep your fingers strong and curved. And this applies to your fifth finger as well. The outside of your hand should remain tall at all times, not collapsed like this. Now that your hand position is established, keep your fingers resting on the keys and move your wrist into an up position and a slightly lowered position. Do this several times to get used to this motion. The lowering wrist movement of the exercise will be a gentle drop onto your strong curved fingers with your wrist following your hand and fingers, and then your wrist lowering. Not with your hand and wrist level, and not like this with your wrist lower than your hand. Your upward movement will be with the wrist leading and the hand following the wrist. Not like this with your hand and wrist level, or like this with your hand leading and the wrist following your hand. We'll begin with a down wrist on C and E with fingers 1 and 3, going to an up wrist on fingers 2 and 4. It's our first fingering on the score, and we'll repeat that fingering on each sequence. It'll be like this: down wrist, up wrist, down wrist, up wrist. Now, on the down wrist, simply drop your hand onto the notes with no additional force. Just a gentle drop. Use only strong fingers to support the drop into the keys, not extra force. You don't want that. This creates a strong tone that musically emphasizes these first notes of each phrased pair. It enables your wrist, hand, and arm to be relaxed. On the up wrist, use very little finger movement. Let the wrist do the work. This creates a softer, more controlled sound and keeps your wrist, hand, and arm relaxed. In other words, the first notes of each phrased pair, no matter what the fingering is, will be louder. The second notes of the phrased pair will be softer, all because of a relaxed down-up wrist movement. So for instance, it'll be louder, softer, not the other way around like this. You don't want that. You want louder on the down wrist, softer on the up wrist. Let's begin on fingers 1-3 with the down wrist motion. And here we go. Down wrist, up. Stay relaxed. Check your knuckles. Be sure your hand is tall. Coming back down, 2-4. The first notes of each pair are the loudest. Excellent. Let's begin our second fingering. Fingers 2 and 4, moving to 3-5. And definitely check to keep that fifth finger tall. The outside of the hand must remain tall, not collapsed. Here we go, starting with fingers 2-4, down wrist. Down wrist, up wrist. Coming back down, 3-5. Keep that outside of the hand tall. Be sure both notes are sounding at the same time. Fantastic. We'll be coming back to the right hand in a few minutes with a bigger challenge. Let's move to the left hand now. To review the correct hand position, place your left hand thumb on G below middle C, second finger on F, third finger on E, fourth on D, and fifth finger on C. Check your wrist. Be sure your wrist is tall, not too low. Keep it tall. Check your knuckles. You'll want to keep your knuckles tall and rounded, not caved in like that. Now, check your fingers. Your fingers should remain curved, not flat, or caved in like that. Keep that joint curved and strong. This applies to your fifth finger as well. The outside of your hand should remain tall at all times, not collapsed like that. Keep your fingers resting on the keys and move your wrist into an up position and a slightly lowered position. Do this several times so that you get used to this feeling. The down wrist movement will be a gentle drop onto your strong, curved fingers, with your wrist following your hand and fingers and then lowering, not with your hand and wrist level like that, or with your wrist lower than your hand. It'll be like this. Your upward wrist movement will be with the wrist leading and the hand following the wrist. Not like this with your hand and wrist level, or like this with your hand leading and the wrist is lower than your hand. We'll begin with a down wrist on C and E with fingers 4 and 2, going to an up wrist on fingers 3 and 1, like this. It's the first fingering on the score. Remember, on the down wrist, simply drop your hand onto the notes with no additional force. Only use strong fingers to support the drop into the keys. This creates a strong tone that emphasizes the first notes of the phrased pair. It enables your wrist, hand, and arm to be relaxed. On the up wrist, use very little finger movement. Let the wrist do the work. This creates a controlled, softer sound. Again, the first notes of each phrased pair, no matter what the fingering is, will be louder. The second notes of the phrased pair will be softer, all because of a relaxed down-up wrist. This is the sound. loud, soft, not the opposite. The accent or the emphasis will be on the first notes. Let's begin on C and E with fingers 4 and 2 with a down wrist, going to fingers 3, 1 with an up wrist. Here we go. Down wrist, up wrist. Check your wrist movements. Check your fingers. Make sure they're still curved. Listen for the strong first third. Excellent. Let's begin our second fingering. Fingers 3, 5. Be sure to keep the fingers tall, especially the outside of the hand. It must remain tall, not collapsed. Fingers 5, 3. Here we go. Down, up. Listen for the notes to sound at the same time. Coming back down. Very little finger movement. It's all with the wrist. Awesome work with the left hand. If you're ready for an extra challenge, remember everything we've talked about and play the exercise in the key of C sharp. Here, all notes are sharped, so to transpose this exercise into C sharp major, imagine a sharp sign in front of every note. Here's the right hand with the first fingering 1, 3, moving to 2, 4 for the up wrist. And here we go. Apply everything that we've already learned. Coming back down. Excellent. Are you ready for the second fingering? Fingers 2, 4 for the down wrist, 3, 5 for the up wrist. Keep your fifth finger tall. That outside part of your hand remains very tall, not collapsed. And here we go. Coming back down. Keep your knuckles tall. Fantastic work in the key of C sharp. And now for a bigger left hand challenge, let's play this exercise in the key of C sharp. Using the first fingering, 4, 2, moving to 3, 1. Here we go. Everything applies. Coming back down. Check for curved fingers. Excellent. Next, fingers 5, 3 on C sharp and E sharp. Keep the outside of your hand tall. Coming back down. Fantastic work in the key of C sharp. After careful practice on this exercise, you'll definitely develop finger strength and dexterity. You'll also enhance your ability to shape phrases with control, allowing your musical expression to shine. Great work. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe so you receive the latest teaching, training, and performance videos.